I am live on YouTube as well as this tube, TickTube. All right, now let me pull up the price of tea in China. Just kidding. That's not what I'm doing. It's not what I'm doing. What I am actually doing is pulling up the price of silver in the United States. Because in Shanghai, it's a hell of a lot higher, I can tell you that. Shanghai don't play. Oh, look at that. It's down to 64. Well, I'll be dag-nabbed. Interesting. Somebody doesn't want the price to go last 5 days. It's now down almost 4% in 5 days, which means that if you want to buy it, now would be the time. This would be the best time. Good evening. Guten Tag. What other languages can we say that in? I know in the Valley, in California, the way that you say good evening is, dude, sup? Or you could say, sup, dude? That's good too. See, that's a nice thing about speaking Southern California, is it's a very flexible language. The word dude has probably 30 meanings in and of itself. Dude. Dude. See that? I just totally switched it up. Semper Fi, buddy. It's a beautiful day to be a former Marine. It's actually a pretty good day to be a Marine now that they're all coming home. Now that they finally get to come back. Oh. Thank God my daughter's not dating one. She is. But looks like Jordan will be coming home in one piece. He tried to get out here to see her one last time, which I know what that means because he was being deployed. And he was being deployed over there. And so I know that his thinking was, just in case I get smoked, I should marry this girl so that she gets my death benefits. That's how Marines roll. We're actually pretty good dudes sometimes. When do I think that silver is going to break? As soon as we get past any concerns that this is all bullshit and that Israel is going to create a false flag. And that is exactly where we're at right now. We're waiting. How do you like the way Moscow's on fire right now? I don't think it's a good idea at all. I would like to see Moscow going back to almost zero crime and lots of happy, good-looking Russian girls running around in scant clothing because it's summertime. And same thing with Ukraine. I would like to see the Ukrainians going back to whatever they do in the summertime in Ukraine. That'd be fun. It'd be awesome. The war that's going on right now is Lindsey Graham's war. It's Tom Cotton's war, not our war. We don't have anything to do with that war, and we should keep our fucking noses out of it completely and utterly. There is no reason in the world that we should be against Russia for any reason. Scouting Bob, that's really not true, and you know it. Come on. It's a little late in the game to be saying that. If they hadn't been killing ethnic Russians for years. Oh, okay, so they violated the Budapest Agreement after the Ukrainian Nazis had killed how many thousands of Russians? 5,000, 10,000. I mean, come on, man. It's like I signed an agreement with you that we're not going to hurt each other anymore. And then you go directly out in the backyard and shoot both of my dogs. And then you wonder why I'm pissed. Seriously? That Budapest bullshit fell apart. I mean, unless you're Rachel Madcow, which clearly you listen to. So, that Democratic shit ain't going to work on me, brother. I know what's really going on over there. I have Ukrainian friends and Russian friends. Oh, God. You really think that Obama and Biden were too weak? Because what? Presidents make the rules? Are you fucking serious? Come on, man. It's just funny. Yeah, there are a lot of biolabs. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, come on. Think about it. If you were Russia and you knew the United States was building biolabs on your border after COVID, which we clearly lied about, which we clearly had a lot to do with, once that happened and you saw how sloppy American biolabs were all around the world because we didn't give a shit, it ain't our country, wouldn't you get a little nervous too? Now, combine that with the fact that the Nazis, and yes, they are Nazis, they'll tell you to your face, I'm a Nazi. So when those Nazis decided that they were going to clear out all the ethnic Russians in the Donbass region by either scaring them away or murdering them, the Russians said, hey, you can't do that. And of course, the Ukrainians said, look, I fucking hate you guys. We've always hated being Russians, being called Russians. We've always been very proud of our heritage. Get the fuck out of town. And of course, the Russians in the Ukraine were like, well, wait a minute, guys. We're ethnically Russian. We speak Russian, but we've been in Ukraine for 300 years. We're Ukrainians. Like, we speak Ukrainian too. We're just like you guys. And the Ukrainian Nazis were like, no, you're not. So either get out or get killed. So after Putin went to the World Court, went to the United Nations and all that other shit, went through all of the stuff, signed all of the treaties that they violated, that Ukraine violated, he finally said, okay, I'm going in. And Biden said, okay, well, as long as it's just the tip, literally, that's what he said. And so Putin sent in 90,000 troops. How many troops does he have? 500,000. So why did he only send in 90,000? And why did they only go into the eastern part of the country? Why didn't they just drive a wedge straight through to Kyiv? Well, Scouting Bob, that is the sad part. I'm going to say that there are easily 500,000 casualties on the Russian side, and it's looking like probably almost 1 million on the Ukrainian side. Now, we said that if it was a police action, like a limited action to just go in and stop the Nazis from killing any more ethnic Russians, that, hey, we were going to be hands off. And the moment Putin went in, we said, oh my God, he invaded this country for no reason. We've got to do something. And we spent $200 billion to give our weapons, our tax money and our weapons to the Ukrainians. Wait, what the fuck we just said we wouldn't do that. Yeah, but guess what? The United States of America, we are the bad guys. Not you, not me. I'm not a bad guy. You're probably not a bad guy either. But Tom Cotton, look, Tom Cotton literally just put forward something that said that we, and remember, this is the Senate Intelligence Bill, and he's in charge of the Intelligence Committee. He said in this bill says that we will literally be joined with Israel. Our intelligence sharing will be 100% integrated forever with Israel's. So the CIA now becomes the Mossad? Are you fucking kidding me? Wait, what? Yeah, that's what Tom Cotton is putting in the bill right now. You go and look at it. The bill's very specific too. It says that unless there's a national security emergency and the president can prove that, the president can't even do anything about it. That we work together again. Oh, Scouting Bob, you are so fucking lost, brother. I don't even know where to start. Like, you are so completely ignorant. You have absolutely no fucking clue what's going on. And I mean, I can try to help you, but honestly, based on that last statement, I don't know if there's anybody that can help you. Like, you are so, like, the ideas that are bouncing around in your gourd right now are actually laughable. Okay. It's this simple. The Jews hate you. By the way, I just got a thing for bullying and harassment. Can you believe that? That's how touchy these people are. That's how touchy the algorithm is. Okay. So, Bob, Jesus was supposed to be a Jew, right? Clearly. He said that the Jews were the synagogue of Satan. And he branched off and went in this other direction. Now, the Jews didn't. They said, no, that's not the guy. Well, when he branched off, all of the people that followed him, all of those people that went in the same direction as him, now it's over 1.5 billion, almost 2 billion people worldwide. Who were those people? Were they Muslims? Islam didn't exist yet. Were they Buddhists? No. They were Jews, bro. They were Jews. He destroyed Judaism. That's the way they look at it. There's 15 million Jews in the world. If it hadn't been for Jesus and his black magic bullshit, there could have been billions of Jews in the world by now. The world would be theirs like God promised it to them before they broke the covenant for the 15th time. So they look at Jesus, and if you know this, then you know. And if you don't, please go look up what the Talmud says about Christians. Please. Because literally what you're doing right now is you are rooting for people who absolutely, to their core, fucking hate you. They hate you. You don't realize it, but it makes so much sense. Once you finally know, then you know. Once you finally get to that point where, like, you do the studying and you see what they've been saying about Jesus and about Christians for thousands of years now, not just 1,000 years, not 1,200, 1,600, not 1,800, for 2,000 years now. The Jews have been saying, this guy is a disgusting black magic practicing bastard whose mother was a whore and she slept with a Roman centurion. They even name the guy. And they say that because of that, he is now burning in a lake of excrement. Now, Bob, I don't know if you know any of that or not. I don't know if you know any of that. So what? It doesn't matter. Well, then, I don't understand. How do you come to the conclusion that Israel and the United States are allies? Well, Sherry, that's a great way to get yourself killed. I mean, I don't know about you, but like if you slipped and fell into a lion enclosure, would you try to get out or would you just go over and try to love the lions into submission? Because I guarantee you that unless there's something very wrong with you, they'd eat you. That's a simple fact. You're talking about predators who hate you. They hate you. Now, we've seen over the last few years how IDF soldiers videotape themselves and laugh when they shoot little children. Now, what was the one thing that Jesus said? The most important among us. He made it very, very clear. The most important among us. Not the poor, not the elderly, not the sick. It was the children. So when you see soldiers, snipers, killing children and laughing about it, that is anti-Christ behavior. It is exactly the opposite. In Christianity, cheating is not allowed. No, I wouldn't imagine it would be. That wasn't real. So the idea of soldiers that are suing Israel because their wives wouldn't let them come home, because their wives found out what they had done in combat. I've seen some of these IDF soldiers, these guys who are big, tough-looking motherfuckers, guys that when I was in the Marine Corps, I don't know if I would have wanted to tangle with them for fun. The big, tough-looking dudes, and they are screaming and crying in court, and they're saying, I don't know what to do because my wife calls me a monster. She will not let me live with her anymore. She won't let me see my children, and I know that she's right. Okay, well, what's that? Look, we're the only country in the world that has anything to do with Israel anymore. Why is that? Why is it Christians all around the world, Christians in Russia, Christians in Iran, and there's a lot of Christians in Iran. Don't get it twisted. There's a lot of Jews in Iran too. Shocker. Yeah. All around the world, whether it's in Turkey or whether it's in Eastern Europe or Western Europe, there are Christians, good Christian people everywhere. Why don't they like Israel? Why is it only the United States? Why is it only this small group of really hardcore Christian Zionists? The idea that you're a Christian scientist, it's nuts. It's like, I want to be a Zionist, but I want to worship Christ. Well, you can't worship Christ. I'm sorry, you can't do that. I mean, I'm reading this and John, clearly you're Jewish and clearly you're a Zionist. That's obvious. It's obvious that you're a Zionist because nobody's ever said anything less true than that. Without being provoked, they bomb Iran, they were bombing Syria, they bomb Lebanon, they bomb everybody all the time. They've bombed 9 countries in the last 12 months. Oh, but they're being provoked. How? Well, talk shit about them and they'll just, that's provocation. It's like, okay. How can you worship anything when children are passed around in the church too? Not in the real church. In a fake church, yeah. I could totally see that. That makes perfect sense in like a fake billionaire driven, one of these places. It's like, if you've got cancer, don't buy medicine, buy my prayer towel. And I'll actually, I'll piss on it myself, and my urine is just as good as God's tears. And there are televangelists all around, and man, it's shocking. I mean, I watch their stuff sometimes because I can't fucking believe that there are so many people out there that are that stupid. But the mega churches will collapse. They'll collapse when the boomers are gone. The mega churches will be gone too, because my generation, Generation X, we don't buy that bullshit. That's not for us. And Scientology seems to be onto something. Well, I'm going to say that if you're not a bot, then you're a troll, and you are obviously just trying to generate some heat here. But I'm not buying. See, I was born at Cedars of Lebanon Hospital in Hollywood. Look it up. You know what Cedars of Lebanon Hospital is now? It's not a hospital. It's Scientology's headquarters. I grew up around Scientologists, and I can tell you, they're out of their minds. Every one of them. And yes, I've met Tom Cruise, and I've talked to Tom Cruise, and I like Tom Cruise. And I know there's all kinds of rumors about Tom Cruise being in the closet and all this other stuff. He seemed like a really nice person, like genuine, look you in the eye when he shakes your hand, talks to you, he's present, he doesn't want to be somewhere else. But yeah, Scientology, I don't know what it is with that, but man, it's just weird shit, I mean, I know what it is because I grew up in that area. So there were people who came to me and said, hey man, you should look into Scientology. And I was like, really? How so? And they were like, well, Dianetics, and they would teach you certain things that made fucking tons of sense. I'll give you an example of Scientology at the street level where people don't realize what they're getting into. One of my bosses once came to me, and he said, how you doing today? And I said, good, man. I really need to make some money. I gotta, I'm getting a little behind. I bit off a little more than I can chew by getting into a penthouse at 25. And he goes, okay, you know how to fix this, right? And I said, yeah, I start, pulling in all the leads I can. He goes, no, never. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, Scientology teaches us something that I think you will benefit from. And I said, what's that? And he goes, outflow. And I said, okay, what's that mean? And he goes, outflow is more holier, more moral, more remunerative, and more effective than inflow. And I went, I'm not 100% sure I know what you just said, but that sounds right. Like, you mean like if you're trying to grab money and you're trying to bring stuff to you out of fear or greed, then it doesn't work as well as just putting good stuff out there, just putting the energy out there and just doing the work and just taking care of shit. And he goes, exactly. Outflow, work hard. And when you're not sure what to do, work harder. Just keep pushing out, keep helping other people, ask for nothing in return. Just do good things and be a good human. And what happens is, as you're pushing out and you're giving that energy to people, it just all of a sudden comes back around. And it's just a rule of the universe. And I went, okay, well, shit, that I buy that. All right, cool. So that's what I did. I started working harder, never thinking about my commission. Don't think about your commission. Think about what you can do for this guy that's sitting in front of you. What's this old lady want? What does she need? What's her deal? Is she really And believe me, there's a lot of people who, especially back then in investing, they had no fucking clue what they were talking about. They didn't know. They were regurgitating what they'd heard. Well, if you're just regurgitating something that an expert said to you that you think, okay, well, that sounds right. Is it right though? Fuck, I don't know. I don't have a Series 7. I do. All right. Let's back up a notch. Let's figure out what's really going to work for you. What goes around comes around. See? When the chickens come home to roost, the CIA calls it blowback. Of course, for the CIA, it's always negative because the CIA is always negative. They're always lying, cheating, stealing, greed. It's all give, 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 and never give to that, give out energy. Always, you got to give it to them. So, yeah, that's a real negative situation there. But when it comes to other advice, I remember once he said, when you're in a time of emergency, you bypass normal habits and routines, and you do whatever is necessary. So if your company is in a time of emergency, you bypass normal habits and routines. If you personally are in a financial emergency, you bypass normal habits and routines. Now, what does that mean? Well, believe it or not, as silly as this sounds, there are a lot of people who they look at their income, they look at their overhead each month, and they're like, God, man, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do, you know? Oh, shit, I got to figure this out. But you know what? First, I'm going to stop at Starbucks. You're going to what? You're going to stop for a $9 cup of coffee? Okay, well, you're not serious. Period. That's it. Now, there are some people who are capable of having a completely different attitude towards money. Their attitude is, I'm not going to solve anything by worrying about every nickel and dime because I'm not a saver. I'm a maker. And I can make an infinite amount of money if I choose to. So obviously, I just need to press down on the gas pedal a little harder. Okay, well, if that's your deal, then hey, you're broke, go have a Starbucks and then work your ass off and get unbroke. Poor, that's a different thing. Yeah, trust me, Starbucks coffee is shitty. It's a scam. It's just like Cuban cigars. Cuban cigars are strong, nasty, overpowering, shitty cigars. I've had some $200 cigars that were handed to me. Okay, well, what are you going to do? Say no? They're like, come on, man, have a cigar. These are the best in the world. You said you smoke cigars. No, I said I smoke Swisher Sweets once in a while. All right, we'll have one. It's like, fuck, I know I'm going to hate this. And sure enough, they're disgusting. It is what it is. Yorkshire tea. Can't say no to French vanilla. Well, the Scientologist boss was a nice guy. You know, Dave was a good dude, man. And he's from Canada, which, you know, I don't hold that against him. But, you know, Dave was a good dude. He just had a different attitude about things. And he was a Scientologist. I didn't even know. He never told me he was a Scientologist. He just gave me all these tidbits of information and then probably decided I was too fucking crazy to bring to Scientology because they'd be mad at him. But it's just, you know, it's one of these deals where that's the ground level. Scientology had Dianetics. It made a lot of sense. It was a lot of logic. And when you look into American Christianity, American conservative Christianity, it's just complete bullshit. It's idiotic bullshit. None of it makes sense. It's just garbage. Just plain Bill, you have good taste, my friend. Swishers are good. Now, I will say this. Cherry, grape, strawberry, what the fuck? No, I want smoke. Give me the smoke flavored ones and I'm perfectly happy. That's it. I'm a simple man. Look, am I a simple man? Yes. I have simple tastes. I am so fucking happy I found a case of these. I'm going to live forever, because of this. I just realized something. I mean, other than the fact that there's probably no actual chocolate in here. Everybody knows that. Yep. It's time. I have to read the ingredients. I think there's cinnamon in here. I'm glitching. High fructose corn syrup, which, by the way, in this is actually good for you. Now, I know, I think there's cinnamon. I've got a little taste of something in here. All right, now let's see. Oh, man, come on, bro. Really? Less than 2% of cocoa, non-fat dry milk, natural and artificial flavors, corn syrup solids, calcium phosphate. That sounds good for you. That's got to be good for you. Let's see, palm oil. Ooh, that's good for you. Palm oil. That'll definitely lube your loins. Let's see. Damn it! It just says natural and artificial flavors. Oh wait, salt, spice, soy lecithin. By the way, soy lecithin is probably one of the most disgusting things ever made. Gar gum, xanthan gum, mono and diglycerides, mono and diglycerides. I got the deluxe stuff. I can actually feel my lifespan getting longer right now. Taking a piss or something. We got somebody from the UK, because nobody talks like that in this country. It's not that I shouldn't have read the ingredients. I just don't believe them. That's the beautiful part about being a former Marine and a Polak. I know that this is actual cream and cocoa with a little pure cane sugar, I'm sure. Now I'm going to go back to drinking my 0 sugar Pepsi. Here's what I've decided. After drinking LA hose water and going to the Los Angeles Unified School District, nothing can kill me. Absolutely nothing. If I were hit right now with a 4-ton asteroid, first of all, I'd cut it into small pieces and sell it for an enormous fucking profit. But secondarily, I'd recover almost overnight. It's just the way it is. LA hose water, baby. That shit will, clean you out. It's got so much chlorine in it. Back when I was a kid, I don't know if they had, exactly. I don't know if they had enough fluoride in the water to really chill you out the way they do now. Nowadays, it's like, There's so much fluoride in the water. It's hard to believe that anybody gets upset about anything. And by the way, the stories about the Nazis giving Jews massive amounts of fluoride in the concentration camps, apparently that's not true. Can you drink the tap water throughout America? Well, you can drink it. Can you survive afterwards? Not really. The religion scene doesn't have anything to grow out into. It just collapses back into conflict. Well, Knight Bjord, that's, I'm not sure what you said there. Drinking water in Flint, Michigan. Now that's some ballsy shit, man. That's hardcore. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. But let's get back to what's going on in the world. If you don't call Tom Cotton and call your representative, who, by the way, I've called Tom Cotton 3 times since yesterday and left 3 different messages. Plus, I called David Schweikert, my guy here in Arizona, and left a message for him and said, basically, look, this is completely insane. You can't do it. And if you do it, it's going to be sedition. Now, for those of you who don't know the difference between sedition and treason can only happen during a declared war if you're helping a declared enemy. Well, theoretically, Israel is our closest ally, and without them, we would be nothing. They are the only reason that the United States still exists, because clearly a bunch of Gentile dipshits like us couldn't possibly run an entire country by ourselves. First of all, we wouldn't be able to charge interest. Or did you not know that? Google, how long was it illegal for Christians to charge each other interest? Oh my God. For 1,400 years, starting in the 4th century. So it was all the way up until the 18th century that Christians did not charge each other interest. Interesting. It's almost like if we didn't charge each other interest, we'd all be better off. Where did interest come from? Well, the Jews have been able to charge interest now for 3,500 years. Well, Jekyll Island is just the birth of the privately owned Federal Reserve Bank. That was a bunch of rich guys who got together. They were actually so worried that they shut down the entire island, a resort, got everybody out of there except the most necessary staff. When they rode the train from their different areas of departure, whether it was Pennsylvania or Washington, D.C., they rode on train cars that had the shades drawn so that nobody could see who was in the train car. That's how worried they were that people would spot them and go, oh shit, what are the Vanderbilts doing? What is JP Morgan up to? You know, what are these guys that are clearly not looking out for our best interests? What are they all doing going to this island together? Well, they fixed that by making sure that nobody knew they were going to the island. And then they came up with this abortion of an idea, this horrendous idea to start another Federal Reserve central bank because we didn't have a central bank. And the reason we didn't have a central bank was because Andrew Jackson said, enough of this shit. No more central banks. Central banks are extremely bad, and I don't want one. Because he knew whoever runs the central bank runs the world, period. You are beholden to them. It's really, really simple. And this is something that the Jews teach their children, and we don't teach our children. And it's really fucking sad. And it's something that up until 50 years ago, every Christian knew. And it just sort of got whitewashed and advertised away by television. If you are a borrower, you are a slave. If you are a lender, you are the master. That's it. Master and slave system. It's very, very, very straightforward. So what happens when you do borrow money? Well, the Federal Trade Commission says, holy fuck, that can't be, it's a Federal Trade Commission. According to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, these payday loans usually cost $10 to $30 for every 100 borrowed, which calculates to an eye-popping average percentage rate of 391 to 520%. Whoever charges that should be executed. Motherfuckers. Take the most vulnerable among us, the people who can't make money. Why can't they make money? Maybe it's because they're lazy. No. Maybe it's because they're stupid. Okay, well, guess what? You can't fix that. So instead, we're going to punish them with 520%. No, you're not. You're not going to punish them with 520%. You're going to take everything they own. That's what you're going to do. You are going to literally enslave them forever. Title car loans have a monthly finance fee of 20 to 25% on the principal. Over a year, this results in equivalent APR of 300 to 310%. God damn it. How? You cannot say that this is a Christian nation and do this to people. You have to pick one or the other, but you can't do both. You can't prey on literally the most desperate among us. Now, what if it's a woman whose husband has died because, God forbid they had insurance. God forbid they had insurance through, 80% of the insurance companies that will always say no matter what you ask them for. And she's lost her husband, and now it's her and 2 kids. And what happens? What happens to her if she gets pneumonia? Why is it even legal? Because the people who make our laws are liars, cheats, thieves, and demons. Straight up. They're psychopathic demons. They have no soul, and they should not be allowed to exist. Period. Anyone who does this to other humans as a way to simply enrich themselves? What? Why? Well, because, I get it. You've got a 9,000 square foot house, but, your wife's Mercedes is 2 years old now. You got to run out and fuck a bunch of really desperate people, steal everything they own so that you can buy your wife a brand new Mercedes. Because that's who's doing this. This is not poor people struggling to get by and charging each other a bunch of money. These are the richest people among us. These are the elites. These are the Epstein class, the ones who look down upon people and say, yeah, I'm charging 520%, but who cares? Who cares? They're not us. They're the poor people. Okay, so wait, you're different. Yes. Now keep in mind, I was born in Hollywood. But when I got out of the Marine Corps and I went back to Hollywood, guess what? All the girls in Beverly Hills, they noticed me. So pretty soon, I'm spending all my time in Beverly Hills. And guess what I learned? No matter how unbelievable the caricature of a rich person is, it's still not good enough. It still doesn't even scratch the surface of how fucking crazy these people are. I mean, insane. All of the richest men that I knew were literally the most sexist, racist, absolute misogynist fucking guys I've ever met. And I just figured, oh, well, maybe it's just their age group, you know? I don't think this way about women. I don't think this way about all black people. I don't think this way about all races except white people. But that's the way they think. And were a lot of them Jewish? You bet your ass. And did they look down upon Goyim, the Gentiles? You bet they did. Believe me, when I was standing outside and I heard my girlfriend tell her mom, yeah, I really hope that at some point, he proposes to me. And I was like, oh, shit, she's more serious about this than I am. And her mom said, look, do not, under any circumstances, get pregnant from this guy, me. And she said, what do you mean? And her mom said, we can always get you divorced if you do something stupid. But if you have a kid with him, then you're stuck with this Gentile guy forever. Now, what's interesting is her mom had married a billionaire. But her mom's parents, the two Jewish people that I met that were her parents, they were cobblers. You don't know what a cobbler is? It's somebody who repairs shoes. And they were the nicest fucking people I've ever met. Just absolutely the kindest people. You couldn't go in that house without getting fed. You couldn't go in that house without Joe pulling you aside and telling you just some goofy old joke from 100 years ago that you may not even get. Just the nicest guy in the world. And his wife was just an absolutely sweetheart. But their very, very pretty Jewish daughter, Ashkenazi Jew, blonde hair, blue eyes, very fair skin. She went to UCLA. She got her degree in English literature. So she was heading to be a school teacher. Woo! There's a big, big step up. Except she never intended to become a school teacher. Her intention was always to hook a rich guy. And since her cobbler parents grew up in Redondo Beach, that's where they moved to from Europe, she was pretty close to Beverly Hills. She was within striking distance of the rich kids. And she got one. She made him miserable. So anyway, my point is this. The idea that somebody can charge you 520% interest because you're desperate, that is I mean, I can't say on here what I would do, what I think people should do to these folks, but I think that it's absolutely fair that if somebody wants to destroy you financially, now, of course, you have to ask yourself, who paid off whom in order to have this happen? I mean, if you voted for a politician The politician doesn't know if you're rich or not. The politician has to assume that you're in the middle somewhere. Middle class, what little's left of it. So if that's the case, and you voted for him or her, then their loyalty, theoretically, should be to you, right? I mean, that only makes sense. But they have zero loyalty to you. Clearly, because look what they're doing. They're saying, look, we don't give a shit about you. If you need money, go to one of these payday loan places. Okay, but if I borrow money, look, if you borrow money, it's only 520% interest per year. I guarantee you, your representative in Washington has never paid that. I can safely say that there is not a single congressman, nor is there a single senator in the United States of America that has ever required a payday loan for any reason. These are all, in one way or another, children of either wealth, privilege, or wealth and privilege. The idea that they allow people to be destroyed financially like this makes me very fucking angry. These are the same people who are suggesting right now that we allow Israel, a country that is literally, according to the World Court, according to hundreds of countries, committing a genocide as we speak, that the United States, because a few thousand religious idiots refuse to admit that if you're Christian, you're literally the opposite of a Jew. Jews are literally anti-Christ. And when I say anti-Christ, people go, ooh, wait, are you saying they're the anti-Christ? Okay. I like Christ. I think he's a cool dude. I've read what he said. All the miracles and shit, I discount that. I think that that's stuff that they put in later to fluff it up a bit, or like rev it up a bit so he sounds more, like otherworldly. I don't care about that. What I care about is if God sent somebody to talk to me and tell me what to be like in order to make the world heaven or heavenly, what would that person say to me? And then I go through and I read the red line stuff and I go, Jesus said this, Jesus said that, Jesus said, yeah, this is exactly what God would say. So clearly, I don't need miracles to know that this is somebody sent by God. This is exactly what I know in my heart, in that little piece of my brain that's God. I know that that's exactly what God would say. Okay. Islam doesn't fit into anything. No, Islam doesn't fit anywhere. Islam's crazy. Islam is nuts. I mean, look at it. No, they really hate Christians. You have to understand that they believe that Christ took a bunch of perfectly good Jews and twisted them and made them less than. He tore them away from the true religion. They're still waiting for their Christ. That's why they never call Jesus Christ. Ever. They call him Jesus the Nazarene, or they may say JC. But in Orthodox math, they don't use a plus sign because it looks too much like a cross. That's not a joke. And you can actually verify that. That's how much they hate Jesus. When they talk about spitting on Christians in places like Jerusalem, that's not a joke either. There are thousands of videos of tourists going over there, and they're wearing a crucifix. And the Haredi, the Hasidic Jews, they'll spit on you. Jesus is a clown. They'll make jokes. Jesus is a monkey. They think that he's a false prophet. Now, here's the point. If you thought that somebody came along and stole 1 billion Christians and turned them against Christ and turned them against the world, that now they're basically worshiping the devil and they're not even humans anymore, how would you feel about them? Because that's the way Jews feel about us. They absolutely deny Christ. Well, what the fuck? And then we got a bunch of these idiots over here that are like, well, it's okay that they hate us because it says in the Bible that you gotta love Israel. You gotta love Israel? So you have to love the state of Israel. No, silly, you gotta love the Jews. Okay, well, who are the Jews? Well, the Jews now? They're Europeans. Okay, well, then they're not the Jews from 2,000 years ago. So who are we sticking up for? Well, we're sticking up for the people of Israel. So the Palestinians. No, they've just been squatting on the land for 2,000 years. Okay, so who are we trying to help here? Well, we're trying to help Israel. Okay, but Israel was invented by the British in 1948. That's it. 10 years prior to that, Hitler was working with the Jews, trying to figure out where he could help them go, because they wanted to go back to where they were from, and he was trying to help them figure out how to get there. And then, all of a sudden, he changed, almost overnight. Why? Well, if you study what he said, because I'm wondering, like, what the fuck is going on here? These people just got, they just got away from a genocide themselves, this horrible Holocaust, and now they're doing the exact same thing to another group. How? Like, how could you do that? How could you turn around and do what you just got done telling the world was the worst thing anyone could ever do? And now you're doing it. Well, pretty simple, really. In his writings, Hitler said, look, I don't want to help the Jews go back to their homeland now. And the reason is, I believe that what they're doing is they're forming a homeland as a place where they can run to, that's a sovereign nation where they can't be prosecuted or held accountable for the things they do to other people in other countries. It's literally like a safe zone for Jews who want to destroy the rest of the world. Wow. Well, what an absolutely idiotic idea. I mean, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. Oh, wait. Is the Mossad trying to merge with the CIA right now? Yep. Right fucking now. They're trying to merge the Israel Defense Forces with the United States military in a bill that's on the Hill right now. And believe it or not, it's from a guy from Arkansas. Oh, that's right. That's where all the idiot Israel firsters are. No, not 224. That's a different bill. Tom Cotton is in charge of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The Senate Intelligence Act is being pushed through, and Section 622, I believe it is a section that says effectively that once we are merged with them as far as our intelligence, that even the President of the United States cannot separate their intelligence community from ours, or their intelligence gathering abilities from ours, unless of course he can prove that there's a national security emergency. Well, how do you prove that when national security is handled by the fucking Mossad? It's clearly a non-starter. Look, you can't. Okay, look, you guys got to stop. Why? Because we think you're spying on us. Spying? No, we're not spying on you. We're spying for you. Yeah, but you're also spying on us. Well, that's for you. That's obviously the NSA listens to everybody in the United States. I mean, hell, we all know that. Wait, so hopefully it won't pass. Max, that's up to you. If you don't pick up the phone and spend 2 minutes of your life calling your personal representative, it's going to pass. Now, here's the best part. That may be true, El Rayo. Here's the best part. Flock cameras, data centers. Think about this. Once Israel completely integrates with the United States government, their government and our government become one government. Who's in charge of all of those data centers? Now, remember, China has about 495 data centers so that they can watch all the people in China all the time, constantly, under surveillance, constantly. 495 data centers. We've already got 5,300 data centers, and they want to build 3,000 more right now. And those data centers will be connected to the flock cameras. And those flock cameras will also be connected to your Ring doorbell and your Alexa and all of your Google products and everything else. At that point, Israel will have access to every fucking word you say. Unless you live in a forest somewhere where you can run far, far away and hope that there's no satellite surveillance at that moment. 40 years ago, one of my friends, who will be nameless, worked for the Air Force and told me that, yes, I've watched a guy in North Africa go outside and take a piss. And I said, you could see the stream of pee. And they said, yep, sure could, clear as bell. You could see the shadow on the ground too. And it was at night. It was the shadow cast by the moon. And they could still see it on the ground in the sand clearly. That's how fucking good a Keyhole 11 was. We are so far beyond that now, it's not even funny. Bottom line is, if we allow Israel, who hates Gentiles, who hates Christ, who hates our way of life, who hates everything about us, and says openly, that Christ is not who he said he was, we're doomed. That'll be the end of it. What's the name of the bill that Tom Cotton put forward with Section 622 guaranteeing Israel access to all of our intelligence? The legislation containing Section 622 is the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2027, advanced by the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, which is chaired by Senator Tom Cotton. Key details of Section 622. Official title, United States-Israel Intelligence Sharing Enhancement. Orwell would be proud. Core requirement, mandates that the U.S. President, acting through the Director of National Intelligence and Secretary of Defense, expand and enhance intelligence sharing and analytic cooperation with Israel, cybersecurity threats, sanctions evasion, missile and aerial threats, and domain awareness. Restrictions on the president. The bill establishes a legal framework that prohibits any future president from suspending, reducing, or materially limiting intelligence sharing with Israel, except in cases justified by a specific and identifiable national security concern. They're literally taking power away from the President of the United States and giving it to the Mossad. This is your future. Unless, of course, you're willing to make a few phone calls. But this can't stand. This cannot stand. This will literally make Israel the most powerful nation on earth. Their takeover of the American government will be complete at that point. If you think that AIPAC can threaten, cajole, and basically blackmail every politician now, holy shit. Can you imagine what they'll have once they have access to all CIA records, all NSA records, National Reconnaissance Office, the NRO? They will have access to every single law enforcement agency in the United States, whether it's the FBI or your local police department. They will have access to all of it. Now, once that's done, what happens with, I don't know, Palantir, whose goal it is to take all of the information about you and put it together in one central file, updated 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in real time. Well, they still have Epstein blackmail, but, it's just not enough. And by the way, this commission on grape and SA grooming gangs in the United Kingdom, 250,000 grapes, without the G, obviously, have taken place and have gone unpunished. Can you imagine that? 250,000 girls between the age of 11 and 18. And nobody prosecuted the gangs because they didn't want to appear racist. Well, there's your Second Amendment rights. Yeah, sure, you can have the gun, you just can't have the ammo, or you can have the gun, but we're going to need to hold on to it for you. Look, guys, the thing that I think we missed is that when Benjamin Franklin walked out after the vote, after the hours and hours of debate to decide what type of government we're going to have, he said a democratic republic, or a republic, I believe he just said, a republic for as long as you can keep it. Now, what he meant by that was there's a lot of work that goes into this. The liars, the cheats, and the thieves will always be drawn to power. If you're willing to just sit back and watch, they'll go as far as they can. They'll go as far as you let them, period. This thing with Israel, this doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me at all. This is the direction that all governments go. From the moment they're instituted until the moment that they are burned to the ground and restarted. This always happens. It has always happened for the history of mankind. Men and women are fundamentally incapable of handling power. We're just not evolved enough yet. And so maybe 1 out of 1,000 people that gets power actually knows what to do with it. We don't have those people. We have 535 people in Washington, D.C., if you include the Supreme Court, and they're corrupt. That's your fault. That's my fault. It's not their fault. You know? I mean, come on, man. Think about it. You know? Tie a pork chop around your neck and run into the lion's cage to go play with the lions and see how well that turns out. It's obvious. At that point, it's your fucking fault, not the lions. You know? That's exactly right. These tigers have shown their stripes, and we just decided that it didn't mean anything. But it does. So what do? Well, democracy and having a republic is messy, and it requires a certain amount of work. Now, is it a 40-hour-a-week job? No, not 40 hours a week. Does it require you to pay attention? Yep. Does it require you to get up and do something about it once in a while? Yep. And if you get up and do something about it early and often enough, then it never requires throwing a brick, if you know what I mean. I don't know if we've passed that point or not. I don't know if anything less than that will be responded to favorably by our government. They may have actually decided that they are above any law that we ask them to pass because they're the government. They know what's best, you know? And if that's the case, well, you all know what that means. I mean, look, if you want this country to be what it's supposed to be, we have to fight for it, which means we've got to stop worrying about stupid shit, okay? I'll give you an example. Let's cut Israel loose. Bye-bye, Israel. Goodbye. Nope. We don't want anything more to do with you. We're done. Go. Go the fuck away. No, we don't hate you. We don't hate you at all. Well, shit, we'll fucking, you know what? We'll make sure that every single one of your citizens gets a Christmas card. Oh, wait, you don't want one of those. Never mind. All right, whatever. Hanukkah, it doesn't matter. But in the meantime, we won't fight your wars for you. We won't give you any more fucking money. You're on your own. Go away. Go. You're surrounded by Muslims that you've been abusing for 70 fucking years. You better start being nice to them because they outnumber you about 200 to 1. So that's it. And then what? Well, then we tell the left, look, I get it. You know, your trans whatever thing is, you know, rainbow coalition, whatever. Yeah, wow, super important. You know what? Set that shit aside. All of you people who are so super hardcore Christians, the Christian right has to be in charge of everything. Otherwise, the devil's going to shut up. Shut the fuck up. Take the 1 or 2% that are the most radical on the left and on the right. We could drop them into the Grand Canyon and say, don't come out until you win. Good luck. Here's a spork. Whatever. I don't care. As long as we just shut them off. Just the most violent, loudest, stupidest 1% on each end. And then we get back to work. Fixing what we fucked up. First of all, things like payday loans. Really? So the big beautiful bill took 700,000 children in 12 states off of food stamps completely. No food assistance whatsoever for those 700,000 children. In the richest country that's ever existed in the entire fucking history of humanity. And you just kicked 700,000 children randomly off of food assistance. And yet, somebody can make 520% on a payday loan off the woman whose kids just got kicked off of food assistance, so she has to borrow money ahead of time. Go to hell. I'll help. No, they weren't illegals. These are kids that we lost 180,000 children off of food assistance just in Arizona. And the reason was that these places that cover them, whatever they're called, the food assistance places, they were told, if you want federal funding of any kind for your state, by this date, you have to cut X amount, 20% off your rolls. Okay, but we only have 1/10 of the personnel we would need to go through all these records and figure out, like, okay, this person actually, you know what, they've been on for a year, but it turns out they've gotten a raise and they actually make too much now. All right, call them up and say, hey guys, sorry, you're off the rolls because you got that raise. Okay, well, we don't have enough people to do that. Okay, well then here's what you're going to do. You're just going to cut 20% off randomly. And if you cut people off who should be on the rolls, well then they'll call you. What? You just cut 20% of the total people that need food assistance. Just cut them. And then they can come back and reapply. Now, of course, the reapplication process is going to be much, much more stringent, much harder. We're going to ask for a lot more stuff. But if you're willing to go through the hours and hours and hours of paperwork it takes to fill all that shit out, well, then, yeah, we'll give you back $300 a month to feed your kids. Okay, but what if I have to work? Well, then tough shit. We're only open these hours, and it's during the time that you work. But I'm already falling behind because I don't have assistance now and I have to work. Hey, tough shit, man. Not our problem. Shouldn't have had kids. Oh, all right. Well, maybe that's why the population of the United States is crashing. Because nobody wants to have fucking kids anymore. They're just expensive pets. But I can tell you this. Well, we have food. Are you kidding me? The average American, and I'll explain in a second because it sounds impossible, but the average American throws away 4 pounds of food per day. No, you don't. No, I don't. I don't throw away shit. I don't throw away orange peels. That's not food. However, the way that they get to the average is by looking at things like grocery store delis that throw away 40 or 50 pounds of food at the end of the day because it's no longer good. They look at restaurants that throw away hundreds of pounds of food at the end of the day because they're required to by law. I walked into Panera Bread. The whole case is full of bread. I said, wow, what are you guys doing with that? Because she was pulling it out. She goes, oh, I have to throw it away. I was like, when was this made? She goes, well, it was made this morning. I said, well, wait, why are you throwing it away? And she goes, well, it's not fresh. And, we say fresh every day, so we have to throw it away. And I said, well, wait a minute. There's got to be a way I can take this and give this to like homeless vets. She goes, no, the city requires us to throw it away. And I said, all right, can you do me a favor? Can you put it in a nice clean bag before you throw it in the dumpster? And she goes, oh, that's really sweet of you, but I know where you're going with that. They make us lock the dumpster. Wait, you're throwing away perfectly good food and you have to lock the dumpster? Mm-hmm. I took my son to his math tutor, and his math tutor is in the most expensive part of Arizona, literally the richest part, which is North Scottsdale. And I walked into AJ's, which is a very expensive, boutique grocery store. Think Whole Foods, but a hell of a lot more expensive. And if you want $65 a pound filet, that's where you go to get it. And I walked up to the deli and I looked in and there was salmon, looked really good. And they had Brussels sprouts that were kind of charred. They looked delicious. All kinds of food. And the guy pulled over a trash can over to it, and I said, dude, don't tell me you're going to throw all that away. And he goes, yeah. I said, there's got to be 20 pounds of salmon in that pan. He goes, yeah, we didn't sell much today. And I said, what's that? And he goes, oh, that's New York strip. I said, you've got at least 10 pounds of it there. And he goes, yeah, I got a lot, but got to throw it away. And I said, you want to cut me a deal on that? And he goes, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to. And I said, well, there's got to be a way to have a discount, right? He said, all right, I got something for you. He just cut the price in half. Yeah, it was still $10 a pound for the salmon, and it was still $15 a pound for the steak, and I don't even know what it was for the Brussels sprouts. I bought all of them. I love Brussels sprouts. Sorry, that's a local government issue. Yeah, exactly. But my point is, government is our job. We think that we look for 15 minutes at a ballot, check all the things that sound good, that make our little Willie happy, and give you I got little fuzzies in my jellies. Oh, I'm going to vote for this guy because his ad was so cool. Did you see him? He's so handsome. And he's got a wife. He's got 5 kids. They look so happy together. Yeah. They're swingers, and half their kids will be dead from drug overdose by the time they're 17. That's the typical political family in this country. So don't buy the bullshit. But that's how we vote. Oh my God, she's hot. That's a hot 55-year-old woman right there. She looks sharp. Yeah, you know what? Let's vote for her. Or if you're a woman, she's a woman. Let's vote for her. Or if you're black, they're black. Vote for them. Because white people are evil. It's like, really? That's how we're going to run our country, is it? Maybe we'd be better off being completely and utterly owned by Israel. Because let's face it, if you ask the Jews, they'll tell you straight out, yep, we are way fucking smarter than you. We are God's chosen people, and the only reason that you are on this planet is to serve us. Literally, it says that in their holy books. The Gentile are here only to serve them. Corporations are the biggest problem in the United States. If I were the president, I would outlaw corporations completely, utterly. Can't have a corporation. Gave you a shot. We gave you a couple 100 years to run corporations, and what you did was you destroyed the fucking world. You realized that through Citizens United and through lobbying and through all your bullshit, you could kill as many people as you wanted to through stupidity or neglect or whatever, and there wasn't one single person that we could single out and prosecute for it. Oh, sure, we could find the company, like we find DuPont once we figured out how many hundreds of thousands of people they probably murdered. $6 billion or some shit. Woo! How much did they make on Teflon? Over 60 billion? Can you imagine? You walk into a major bank in New York City. You say, give me all the money in your vault. They say, okay, don't kill us. They hand you over $100 million. You walk out to the street and the police say, put your hands up. And you say, guys, there's 10 million. And they go, oh, you just pay a fine? Okay, you can go. Wait, you just give back 10% of what you sold? Yeah. I'm in. How do I do that? Well, first you get a company, and then you make a product that you know is defective, and you sell it to everybody, and you lie, cheat, and steal. Then you take 1/10 of 1%, you give that to attorneys, because, attorneys are all so honest. And then after that, it's like, wow, this is the world we live in? This ain't right. I mean, am I crazy? Doesn't feel like this is right. Like, this ain't right. So, what are we going to do about it, guys? Well, first things first. The Sacklers are a perfect example. God, I love the Sacklers. I would just, give me a weekend with some of those Sackler girls. Boy, I'll tell you what. That'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Boy, that's the dumbest thing anybody's ever said that I've ever heard in my life. You realize Tom Cotton is the one who's trying to join us with Israel right now, right? So that Israel will not only have access to all of our intelligence, but they'll have access to all 8,000 AI data centers, which are not AI data centers. They're actually data centers to store your information. It takes a lot of storage to store every single thing that you do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Well, I mean, I don't know what your kids are like, but, you know, I got 5 of them. I think they're fucking awesome. Yeah, Tom Cotton. Yep, Republican. Look, I don't know if he's gay. I don't know if he's gay. Yeah, he hangs out in gay clubs. Yeah, he has some very questionable parties. He's been seen in some questionable circumstances. That doesn't mean he's gay, you know? Like Lindsey Graham. He's another ultra conservative Republican, diehard Christian, good man who told everybody, we're going to blow Iran till they're on their knees. Really, Lindsey? Is that what you want to do? You want to blow Iran? With a name like Lindsey, it was inevitable, right? Was it inevitable? So, but here's the problem. Lindsey hates gay people, and he wants to kill everybody all the time. He wants to go to war constantly. Now, is he going to war all the time because it benefits him, or does it benefit the people who hold all of his secrets? I don't know. I just know that the people of South Carolina are probably the lowest IQ people in the United States. There's no question. Like, Tom Cotton at least looks straight. Oh, no, he's not going away. Lindsey Graham? Hell, he just won his primary, man. The people of South Carolina are so low IQ that they actually re-elected him. They want him to be re-elected. You can't make this shit up. Lindsey fucking Graham. What? And of course, the boomers, they took the one guy you could trust, the one guy, Thomas Massey, that you could trust, and they helped kick him out. Because there was an old fart Navy SEAL guy who apparently Trump liked. I just got another guideline violation for bullying and harassment again. No, South Carolina. Well, North Carolina probably too. Whatever. Yeah, but he's look, man, he's stuck. He's deep in there. Lindsey is like a fucking tick on a hound dog's ass, man. He ain't going anywhere. So anyway, guys, all right. Well, you got to buy the book. If you don't buy the book, God doesn't love you. That might be a bit strong. Okay. Let me put it to you this way. If God likes you and you buy my survival book right there at my channel, you go to the channel and buy it, then God will go from liking you to loving you. And when I say liking you to loving you, what I mean by that is you will actually survive the next apocalypse, which could be any day now. Don't know. hello, Bob. Your name looks familiar. You were on my live stream a few years ago, weren't you? Pretty sure you were. So if you're so good at these types of conspiracies, why don't you talk about real conspiracies? Oh, you're talking about how the earth is flat, Sean? No, I can't get off now. I gotta wait until Sean answers. He wants to talk about real conspiracies. UAPs. Well, Sean, the reason I don't talk about UAPs is because I'm over 12, and so's my IQ. Good luck with that, though. I studied UAPs back in the 80s when you weren't even like a sparkle in your daddy's eyes. And, by the way, after spending 5,000 hours doing shit like going out into the Nevada desert and finding all of the places that you could actually see Area 51 from the surrounding hills, and they're few and far between, and after going out to Tonopah and spending lots of time out there in the middle of the fucking night, sometimes in a wetsuit, yeah, the reason that you wear a wetsuit was so that we could evade all of the thermal. But the point is that after doing all of that, I've seen things that are physically impossible. Physically impossible. I sound like a televangelist. That's sad. Although they do sound good. They just spew a bunch of bullshit. But yeah, I've seen things that are absolutely physically impossible. I've seen things go over my head at probably 900, 1,000 miles an hour. They cast a shadow on the ground right next to me so that I could see. Because at night, when something goes overhead, is it small and close by, or is it enormous and 10,000 feet up? Hard to tell. You have nothing to compare it to. However, when it casts a shadow on the ground next to you because of you, then you got a pretty good idea of how far away it is. And I've seen things go by that were going so fast that they had to have made a sonic boom. And they didn't. You couldn't see any ship. All you could see was a blue flame. Don't know what the fuck it was, but it moved. I've seen things pop up from behind a hill, go from 0 to supersonic speed back to 0 in a matter of a couple of seconds, which of course, would scramble anybody inside. That's just the way it is. I mean, conservation of motion. So yeah, I've studied all that. Now, do I think that the UAPs that they're giving us access to now are real? No, I don't think so. I think it's our technology. And the reason I think that is because I watched the head of the Lockheed Skunk Works at a very unusual setting. He was talking to a group of aeronautical engineers, which he was. And it was his alma mater, and they were there for some 50-year reunion or something. And somebody asked him as they were walking out, and they said, so, how far along are we? And he turned back and he looked and he smiled and he said, I can't answer that, but I can tell you this. You know how E.T. said he wanted to go home? Well, now we could take E.T. home. He turned around and walked away, and I thought, that's interstellar travel he's talking about. You don't do that with a rocket. I don't care what kind of rocket it is. I don't care if you're talking about, the new age of nuclear powered rockets, or it doesn't matter what you're talking about. There's no way to propel a spaceship through intergalactic space fast enough to get to another galaxy or even another habitable planet in even several human lifetimes. So what's the guy who's in charge of Lockheed Skunk Works talking about? He's got to be talking about wormholes or folding space or something else. And at that point, I realized it's all bullshit. Everything beyond that, when are they going to disclose this? They're not going to disclose shit to us. You know, I mean, if disclosure day is any like, you know, testament to what the government's up to, it's the worst movie Steven Spielberg's ever made. It is an absolutely hopeless piece of shit. It's just a bunch of stupid chase scenes like every other fucking action movie. And it never answers a single question. I mean, it is just garbage. It's sad. But it's just like the UAP stuff. It's always a crumb. It's never a fucking loaf of bread. Okay, well, fine then. You know what? I say, I tell the government, yeah, you know what? Go fuck yourself. I don't even care. If you're in contact with aliens and you're hiding it from us, really? Do you really think that's possible? The aliens come here after however many millions of years of development they have on us. They come here and they look down at a bunch of dumb fucking primates like us who have nuclear weapons pointed back at ourselves. Like, what? Oh, yeah, we got nukes. Oh, so you can defend yourself from invaders from... Nope, they're not made for that. They're made for pointing at each other. Wow. So chimpanzees are violent, but humans are really intelligent, violent chimpanzees. So, number one, if they had the technology to come here, do you think that they want to talk to you? What exactly do you think you could say to something that's, say, I don't know, 1% different than you? Their DNA is 1% different, but more evolved. Well, we're about 1.4% different than a chimpanzee. Do you want to go talk to a chimpanzee? No. Do you have anything to talk to a chimpanzee about? If you could talk to a chimpanzee? No. Why? What would they tell you? Oh, I mean, maybe the first 5 minutes would be interesting. I'm a chimp. What are you? Oh, I'm a different kind of ape. Well, what's that? Oh, fuck, this is going to get complicated. Yeah, because that 1% means a huge amount. So they come here, they see you, and they say, what's up? And you say, oh, well, like, how was my day? No, that's not what they mean. That's not what they mean at all. They want to have a really in-depth, really technical, a really, really very, very intelligent conversation with a life form that can't do it. So why would they come here to begin with? Well, the simple answer is Star Trek. They're just here to observe. That's a lot of miles to go just to watch. No, they would see us the same as cattle. So then let's assume that they're not here to just observe. Let's say they're here to try to help us. Is that what we're going to assume about the aliens? They're nice, they're good beings, they're super cool. All right, let's assume that. Let's assume that the aliens are super nice. Okay, cool. Ooh, hey, let's go have a party together, guys. This can be fun. We're going to have cake with the aliens and cake. But then, well, the problem is that if they did come here to try to help us, and the government jumped in front of them and said, whoa, you can't talk to these people. And the aliens would be like, really? Why is that? Well, because we've got to keep you hidden because the people can't handle you. Oh, you can handle us. Yeah, but we're better than them. Oh, so what do you want to do? Well, we're going to lock you in a basement. Oh, so I flew 14 light years to get here just so that you could lock me in a basement. Hmm. Interesting. No, I don't think I'm going to let you do that. Oh, well, what are you going to do to stop me there, alien? I imagine their technology is pretty good. Don't you? So if a bunch of dipshits in olive drab Jeeps with M16s rolled up on them and said, "Hey, motherfucker, you're under arrest," I don't think that would work. Um, so why don't we see them? I mean, if they're here to help us, like the story about the nuclear drill that they shut down because they decided to show us that they could shut down a nuclear missile site. That's pretty impressive, guys. That's super impressive. Wow, you shut down a whole missile site all by your lonesome. That's some advanced space being shit you pulled right there. How about this? Why don't you shut down the whole fucking electrical grid of Earth for, say, 15 minutes? And then when you bring it back on, broadcast over every single conceivable way, radio, television, satellite, what the fuck ever, that, hey, we're here to help you. But first, we need you to understand that A, don't be aggressive with us. We don't take kindly to threats. And B, you got to get rid of all your weapons because killing each other is not going to be part of the plan if we're going to help you take it to the next level. I never got that message or memo or fax or whatever. Never got that. So I'm gonna call bullshit on all the other stuff. Now, is it possible that Lazar, Bob's telling the truth? Yep. Is it possible that maybe somehow an alien ship crashed into the planet? Yep. Possible. That maybe we even recovered a live alien out of it before they died. Yeah. Yeah, it's possible, I suppose. Okay, so that's that. We'll never hear about that. The government's going to cover that up forever. And by the way, if they didn't, what good would it do? Well, that's another thing, is that there's only one alien story that I've seen that I absolutely do believe. And the reason I believe it is because you can't fake it. There's no way to fake it. Study the Dogon tribe. No, Israel, that's all bullshit. Anything that's happened in the modern era, like if it's happened after 1990, the technologies that exist are so incredibly advanced. Right now, the United States is in possession of technology that could fundamentally make human beings believe that we're being attacked by aliens from space. There's no question. They have technology that could make us believe that. So, anytime they want the ultimate false flag, the ultimate control over everyone, they can use that. Oh, absolutely. That's the problem with governments. Now, their next project of control, yeah, well, it's possible. I can tell you this, that one of the things that controls moods, and luckily it's over with pretty much for the time being, uh, is solar activity. over the last 15, 20 years, they've really, really done a great job worldwide, China, Russia, the United States, all around the world, of studying the link between unaliving oneself, depression, stroke, heart attack, all with solar outbursts. Well, that's interesting. So when the sun is really putting out an enormous amount of energy, summer or winter, doesn't matter. And we're not talking about physical heat, like, oh, it's 105, no wonder everybody's crazy. It's the amount of solar activity. So it could be 32 degrees below zero in Alaska, but when the sun starts to really put out a lot of radiation, it actually affects your central nervous system. That should not be a shock to anybody. Our whole body is an electrical system. You can run a flashlight just off your brain. Wells Fargo got a patent on it, huh? Well, what do you do? So anyway, as far as UAPs, it's just a fucking great distraction. But the only thing that I've heard from any of these guys, Burchett or any of them, that concerns me is that there could be, in terms of aliens and alien presences, that they may not exist in a way that we can see them. They may exist outside of our ability to sense them. That should terrify everyone. The idea that there could be other beings in the same room with you, and that your ability to hear or see them simply doesn't exist because of how limited your hearing and sight are. We all know that there are animals that can see a lot of things that we can't see, whether it's infrared or what have you. Cats, dogs, owls, they all have vision that far exceeds what we can see. The idea that there could be other beings that simply don't project the light frequency we can see, that's terrifying. Fifth dimension, everything already happened. Time is not linear. It's a constant. That would be very, very scary. So anyway, well, I'm going to go eat. It's 9 o'clock. I'm hungry. I'm going to go go eat something good for me, and probably drink another Yoo-hoo, because if you drink Yoo-hoo, you live forever. I don't know if you live forever. Maybe forever is a little much. Wow, I didn't make a single freaking dime. Unless they're humans coming home. That would be an interesting way of looking at it. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.